Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking to you about a very interesting week that was in pro wrestling. So that's going to be AEW Dynamite, MLW Fusion, and NWA Power. Reason I'm doing all of this on Monday is because I did miss out on watching Dynamite on Wednesday, so I watched it the next day. I meant to film something for Friday, but things got away from me. So I am doing this super show for today. And I'll try to keep it short and sweet, so it's not like a 2-hour video. So, I'm going to be covering all of this. I'm not going to go through every detail, but I'm going to give you kind of cliff notes on what's going on. So, sit back, relax, and let's get into this one. So, we start off with AEW Dynamite. I don't know if... It's not the go-home show. What's the opposite of a go-home show? I think it's the return show from Redemption, which definitely was very interesting. So we got ourselves a Dynamite card rundown, which I'm going to say this off the top of the... I really like when promotions do stuff like this. Just file out, show the goings on, what's scheduled right off the bat. I think it's informative, and it lets people know what to expect. Then we get some highlights from Redemption, but it's mostly focused on the Kenny Omega Kevin Knight match, and then the subsequent attack by the Death Riders, with Will Ospreay not applying the plastic bag to Kenny Omega. If you don't know, that's how they retired Bryan Danielson back in the day. Which, that was probably a little over a year ago now, which, that's insane. Anyway, so, first thing we get from actual Dynamite now, we see Renee Paquette trying to interview Will Ospreay. He's just trying to walk off and do his thing. Then he kind of turns, camera pans, it's the Death Riders. Moxley steps up to him. Then Garcia tries to get into Ospreay's face. Ospreay lays him out. I'm talking knuckle sandwich right to the dome. Then it's Pac holding everyone else back. So Moxley steps up again. He says to Ospreay, "Are you sure you want to do that?" So Ospreay says to Moxley, "You know you don't get to pull the trigger for me. And because of that, I'm out." So he gives the Death Rider patch back to Jon Moxley. So Ospreay is officially out of the Death Riders, which I'm more than okay with that. So then Moxley retorts, "Is that so? Looks like you got it all figured out." Then we see the Death Riders surround Ospreay for a minute, but Ospreay just kind of walks off. Then he runs into Hangman Adam Page, which that's definitely a person you want to see. Anyway, Hangman pretty much says, "Look, I just want to catch up with everything that's going on. I know what you're going through right now, and I didn't want to stick my nose in your business, but if you need anything, you let me know." Ospreay turns to Hangman and says, "I appreciate it, bruv, but I made my decision. I'm doing this on my own." So Hangman retorts, "You're one of the best in-ring competitors that I know. I know you're gonna be your best at All In, or you're gonna die. Ospreay kind of gives him a look, and he says, "Look, I'm kidding. I mean it when I say this. You got this." So, words of encouragement from the former AEW World Champion to a potential future one. Although that might be laying the groundwork for something. I guess we'll see. So our first match up, we got the AEW National title on the line. We got Andrade El Idolo defending against Jungle Jack Perry and Sick Nick Wayne. And honestly, this kind of felt like TNA's X Division at its peak. This was a great, fun, energetic matchup. You know, I don't want to compare the two. It kind of felt like Unbreakable 05 with Joe Daniels and AJ Styles in TNA. And by the way, if you haven't seen that match, go find it. It's the best match ever. And yeah, this was just a super fun match, with Andrade winning via the DM. We then get an Andrade interview post-match where he says, "How I feel? I feel tranquilo." And because I screwed MJF and his crew, I can buy anyone off, which, that's interesting. I am going to be the best national champion ever. But I have one question for you, Tony. How you know? So, yeah, this is going to be a fun run. I am super excited to see where Andrade goes from here. So then we go backstage for an interview with the Brawling Birds, saying the Divine Dominion talk too much, saying they've been avoiding the Birds. And so, later tonight, we got a 6-man tag. Pick your best for Collision, in which I did see that match. It was very good. Then we get an interview with the Don Callis family, which this was very weird. With the Fletcher kind of he pretty much saying, "Look, I retained my title without any help. This is all just part of the business. Don't need the family. We need the family." So then we go to Kevin Knight. He says, "I went toe-to-toe with the best, but that won't be the last time I'll main event a pay-per-view. But Kyle, you got Speedball Mike Bailey coming up. You should be focusing on keeping your title, because this one will never leave the Callis family." Then all of a sudden Okada shows up. And he says, "Keep your title, stay with the family," which I don't really know what that really means, but is Okada about to turn babyface? I'm not sure. And actually, speaking of the Don Callis family, we got trios action, as it's the Don Callis family. It's Kyle O'Reilly, Brian Cage, and Jacob Doyle taking on Brodito, that's Bandito and Brody King, and Speedball Mike Bailey. And this was a really, really fun tag team match. Really good back and forth. Everyone pretty much got their stuff in. But then here was an interesting one. Kyle Fletcher, no, it's actually Jake Doyle, attempts a powerbomb on I want to say it was Bandito. Bandito blocks it, tags in Mike Bailey. Bandito takes down Cage so that Bailey can hit his Ultima weapon, then roll him right up to pick up the win for his team. A nice, fun, well-paced bout that I feel like a lot more people need to see. Next up, we get a little sit-down interview with the Young Bucks and Cage and Copeland, which Edge and Christian. And this was pretty much a glaze fest. Like, oh, you guys are great. You're inspired us in the tag division. Oh, but you guys are great too. You inspire We now move on to the next show I watched. It's MLW Fusion. We start off with a Big Damo versus Mads Kruger hype video, which, that was pretty neat. Got a little card rundown. And before this next match, in which out is Austin Aries, Ultimo Guerrero, and Doki, which, that's a heck of a team. So Aries grabs the microphone before the baby faces come out, and he says, "You see this?" Pointing to the openweight title. "This is the best title in wrestling because I hold it. And no offense to you guys, but I'm the leader of this team. You follow my lead, and I can teach you guys a lesson tonight. Mystico, you can't duck me anymore. Let's do this." So out comes the baby faces, El Desperado, Diego Hill, and Mystico. And honestly, this was a really, really fun matchup. I'm going to say if you don't watch MLW, go give this matchup at least a look, because it was a lot of fun. Match finishes after a La Mystica from Mystico for your winners to be the baby faces. Post-match, I believe it is the CMLL announcer coming in. Not really to translate to Mystico, but they're speaking in Spanish. But from what I can tell, Mystico challenged Aries to an openweight title match there and now. Aries pretty much says no. So, yeah, that was definitely very interesting. We're definitely going to be getting that match sooner or later, and I'm here for it. Then we go backstage for a Contra Mercs segment. It wasn't even really a promo, because they're hooting and hollering, they're ready for their matches, blah, blah, blah. Nothing really sets it up. And then we get some highlights from the women's division over the past couple weeks. And then we get a video promo from Karen Joy, who apparently is an influencer. I've never personally heard of her. But if you have, let me know who she is, because I have never seen her before. And in her promo, she's saying, every promotion needs a diva. That's why I'm coming to MLW. So, fresh face. I guess this is going to be MLW's Logan Paul or BDE. They're kind of, celebrity, which, that's fine. Then we get kind of an announcement that the Opera Cup is coming back. So, really excited for that one. Then we get an AI-generated hype video for a guy called Jumbo. In which, okay, I'm ready to see what he's about. So our next match, we get some tag team action players. As we got the Contra J Unit, which is Akira Kwan and Akamoto, taking on GBOT, aka Wolfgang and Mark Coffey. So, yeah, this was honestly a short match, but I feel like GBOT kind of got their stamp of MLW in this one. And they pretty much won with the big kick, big boot kind of spin doctor move. At least I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. They never really gave that finish a name, so I hope they do give it a name soon. But yeah, GBOT win in a relatively short match, but I'm definitely okay with that. Then we get all three members of the Skyscrapers getting an interview. So it's Joshua Bishop, Donovan Dijak, and Bishop Dwyer, a.k.a. Baron Corbin, our current United States champion in WWE. So, pretty much say, look, we've beaten the Good Brothers up before. They need to get our names out their mouth. And it's going to be in 2 weeks for the tag team titles. Then we go to a different part of backstage with LeBron Cozone, in which I don't think I've heard him talk in a while, which, that's fine and dandy. He says, it's beyond me. No one knows who attacked Teddy Long a few weeks ago, but when I find out, it's over. So nice, short, sweet, to the point. Love that. Then we get a card rundown for Fusion for next week, including a Cross Kojima match, which that should be fun. That gets a nice little hype video. Then we get Cross and Riddle post-training session with Riddle saying that Cross owes him for something. I'm not sure what that's about, but I guess we'll see in the coming weeks. Then we get to our main event. And boy oh boy, was it a hoss fight. We got Mads Kruger of the Contra Mercs taking on Big Damo, making his in-ring debut for MLW and representing Contra Unit. And this was pretty much a gigantic hoss fight. These two guys looked like they wanted to destroy one another. And it's weird, but Damo got a ton of offense. But after attempted splash, that gets caught into a choke slam. This brings out the other members of the Contra Unit to attack Kruger. And we see back in the parking lot, that the extras, aka the Sentai Death Squad, attacking the Good Brothers. Then we get back into the arena. Lights cut out. Then we see a fireball getting thrown into the face of Kruger. Lights come back on. We get the identity of Contra Unit's Serpent. It is former Contra Unit member himself, Joseph Samael. Now, if you don't know who he is, he was pretty much the number 2 to Jacob Fatu back when he was in MLW and Contra. And it's good to see him back. Definitely a lot of interesting reveal. Although it didn't get a giant reaction, but that's fine. I do hope we go back to the Big Damo Kruger match, because I feel like we only just scratched the surface of that matchup. Overall, Fusion was very enjoyable. I enjoyed a lot of what was here, except my only issue is how the main event finished. But that's just me. I like to see clean finishes in my wrestling. And finalimo, we got NWA Power. And and I guess it's kind of the first of a special. I think it's not the 76th anniversary. I think it's something else. And we start off with a very entertaining matchup for the junior heavyweight title, as Damian Fenrir takes on Slade. And throughout this match, you see Aaron Stevens, who's ringside, interfering in the match. One point, Fenrir goes for the lightning bomb. That gets blocked into a Slade, and gets him in the Slade slam. Only gets a 2. Slade locks him in the Slade lock, but Fenrir gets out of it. Hits Slade with a roll-up. Then after a big clothesline, Stevens gets up on the apron, loads up his glove, KO shot. So he's out like a light. Slade with the Slade lock. And ref calls the match because apparently he saw Aaron Stevens' interference. So winner by DQ is Damian Fenrir, but considering titles can't change hands on DQ, still your junior heavyweight champion is Slade. So I guess we are going to get a rematch between these two sometime soon, which I am definitely all for. Let's get it done. Next up, we see Pretty Empowered warming up in the back, so that felt random as heck. Then we get a promo from the Popes asking where Mims is. Mims comes in. Popes asks him, "How you doing? I'm here to give you a heads up. I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to do what you didn't. And I'm going to do the unthinkable to get in the ring with Carnage." So, it looks like we're getting a 1-on-1, I guess. So, yeah, that should be a very interesting matchup. I feel like we've seen it before, though. It's my only issue. Next up, we got the United States Tag Team titles on the line. As the hard way, that's Dalton McKenzie and Gentleman Jack Vaughn, who near and dear to my heart. Love that guy. Taking on the Slime Balls. And the Slime Balls are dressed in colonial attire, although they are wearing red coats, which I don't know if that's intentional, but, fair play to them. This was definitely a very interesting back and forth matchup. One point, Stevens trips Dalton McKenzie after he goes for a big move, but the ref saw it and throws Aaron Stevens out of the match. Slime Balls do keep fighting. They go for the Snot Rocket, but that gets blocked by McKenzie. And the Hard Way hit the Hard Times to pick up the win and become the new United States Tag Team Champions. And I'm going to say this, hell to the yes. Not to say I don't like the Slime Balls, I really, really do. But it was time to mix this up a little bit. And, I'm just happy Jack Vaughn's holding the title again. So post-match, the Slime Balls yanked the titles away from the referee who were presenting them to the Hard Way. The Slime Balls take a look at them, hand them over to the Hard Way. So a nice passing of the torch moment, I guess. Although Slime Balls aren't really that old, so. Then we go backstage to this weird promo from Natalia Markova. Not to say the talking was weird, but she was like walking in some car garage or something. Anyway, so she says, "Only 1 week left, Tiffany. I'm going to take the title back that's rightfully mine. You didn't deserve the win. And when the lights shine on you, you back down." So, nice, easy little promo from Markova. Then we get some power highlights from last week, in which we see the continuing animosity between Kerry Morton and Thrillbilly Silas Mason, in which I am ready to see Silas take Kerry's head off. Although, speaking of Kerry, he and his father Ricky are in the ring for an interview, with Kerry saying, "See, look around and see pro wrestling," and they look at me and see the top of the business. They say this guy is money, and if you ask what everyone thinks, I don't care. The boss sees me and says he'll take NWA to the next level and become NWA World Champion. Interviewer turns to Ricky and he says, "Kerry is going to be the next NWA World Champ. And what I say, for 40 years, was a part of the Rock and Roll Express. I sacrificed it all for him, but he sold me out for 15 cents. I don't know the story behind that, so I'm going to have to look that up. Anyway, Ricky continues, I'm not letting Kerry make the same mistakes I did. So, yeah, nice little interesting promo. Kind of goes through the thought process of the Mortons after betraying Thrillbilly and the Southern Six. Then we go backstage for this really over-stylized promo from Alex Misery, saying, next week I face Daisy Kill. I see you rock stars, and you demand something that isn't yours. I pray you bring your best, otherwise it won't be enough. So, nice, easy promo from Alex Misery. Although, I will admit, I kind of forgot his name for a minute there. It has definitely been a while since I watched Power. But, I'm back. I had to look him up. Sorry, Mr. Misery. I like you, dude. Anyway, next up, a very interesting matchup. Because I thought this would be a 15-second squash match. We got Alex Hammerstone taking on Richard Adonis. And while Hammerstone did dominate early, Adonis surprisingly got some really good stuff in. He countered the Nightmare Pendulum attempt for a roll-up for a 2. Attempted a diving headbutt, missed. Goes for a big knee strike. Hammerstone catches him, hits him with a choke slam, and then a powerbomb for a 2 count. Then hits the Nightmare Pendulum for the win. And like I said, I honestly thought this was going to be a quick little 15-second squash match. I'm glad Richard Adonis got so much offense in. It's definitely good to see. Next up, we got a promo from Serena Vale, Alex Crowley, and their manager, who I really didn't get the name of. With the manager saying, I put together the best team in the NWA. Then Big Al, that's what they call her later, says, let me set the record straight. This is not my first time facing the Page sisters. I have history with Kenzie for years in the Indies, and beating her sister probably won't be that hard. And then Serena steps up, says, I hope you two finally stop fighting, but I don't think that would matter anyway. So, definitely some interesting going on. And, yeah, we'll see what happens next in our main event. Then we get a very interesting Carson Drake experience segment with King Trevor Murdoch and his, I guess, Knights, which is Mike Knox and I'm forgetting the name of the other guy. I'm sorry. So Murdoch says, look, we've discussed this. Next week shall be a glorious exhibition. We will display our skill and wit. So, I do think there was more, but I did miss it a little bit because I was trying to figure out who the third guy was. So then we get a promo from TVMA. Mostly it's just Nieves and Miss Star. Greta's there, as well as the TVMA hairdresser, who I am still certain that's Reggie. And Miss Star's pretty much buttering everyone up, saying, you're all doing an amazing job right now. We got this. Then Tiffany Nieves says, TVMA doesn't back down from a fight. We'll see you next week, Markova. I hope Markova has some backup next week, because that's going to be an interesting match. And then we get our main event of the evening. It's the NWA Women's Tag Team titles on the line as Serena Vale and Alice Crowley. Alice. I thought it was Alex. Alright. Take on Kenzie and Kylie Page of Pretty Empowered. Now at first, Vale and Kenzie start, but immediately Kylie tags in. She dominates for a bit, but then Vale and Crowley take advantage. Then we got a middle of the match promo from Jack and Eddie, at first hyping up their match. But then world champion Silas Mason comes in saying, "Your opponents are yellow. That means I'm on the hunt, and I'm on the trail of Gary. Call me the Morton Hunter." Oh, I like that very much. Gonna be interesting to see where that goes. Come back to the match. Crowley with an impressive Michinoku driver for a 2 count. Vale and Crowley with a wheelbarrow splash for 2. Kylie with an impressive neckbreaker for a 2 count. Eventually she does tag Kenzie in, runs all over her opponents, hits a pile driver on Vale for a 2 count. Kylie tags back in with some strikes. Kenzie Page with the Kenzie cutter. Or at least I thought she tagged in. I guess not. Kenzie hits a Kenzie cutter. Then she's setting up for something else. Kylie tags in, goes right in for the pin, and wins it for her team. So that's definitely an interesting move. Stole a win. I'm definitely all okay with that. Then Kylie and Kenzie's dad comes in. And looks like he's talking down to Kylie a little bit. Then Kylie just slaps the taste out of his mouth and bails. So it looks like Pretty Empowered are on the cusp of potentially breaking up, which honestly I wouldn't be too mad at, because Pretty Empowered has been going on for a little bit long. But yeah, I think it's time for them to potentially break up. And yeah, Power was definitely very interesting. Good first show. At least I think it's the first show of their current special. Hard Times, that's what it is. So yeah, we're going to see where next couple weeks go, because I am definitely very interested. And that'll do it for me. I hope you all enjoyed. So coming this week, I am going to try my absolute best to get things back on track. So that's going to mean Friday, it's going to be AEW Dynamite and TNA Impact. I know I haven't covered Impact in a while. I do plan on doing so this week. Then Monday, it's going to be Power, MLW Fusion, and AEW Collision. After that, I think we should be good. So hopefully you are all ready for that. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.